Please give a very warm Tallahassee Rotary welcome to our District Governor, Kerry Anne Schultz.
Wow, Tallahassee, you are just the best. I mean, they always say you are the Tallahassee Rotary Club. Larry, I love you. Larry and I go way back, friends, in learning with Roger Champion. I can't thank these two past district governors enough. Their mentorship, their friendship, their guidance, their support. Thank you. You are the man of many talents. I mean, listen to him. We could put him on The Voice and he would win. We could say he is our friend. Thank you for that. I am telling you, I would like to recognize several of you who are here, and I want to thank the staff who made this wonderful lunch. Larry said, how many lunches have you had where it was fried chicken? Pretty much, most of them. So, which is wonderful. As Sean knows, I have my 3 little ones in Africa, and when I think of food or water, it is so precious, no matter what it is. But what a wonderful lunch. And wonderful. I was so excited to come today, and thank you for this wonderful introduction. Sam, thank you for touching my heart today and the conversations we've had in the past. That is wonderful. Over 100 years of service. So you and the Quincy Club that celebrated last Tuesday, Gulf Breeze celebrated 50 years. How incredible is that? I come before you as your 110th district governor. 110 years of incredible servant heart leaders, all the way from Perdido Key to Lake City. Pretty cool. Thank you for that and your giving. Now, Kelly, I'm telling you, you are in a good spot with this incredible person. Kelly and I have had an opportunity to get to know each other the last year as we've learned what President Gordon's focus this year in Rotary about innovation and about promoting peace and our mental health initiatives. And I can't think of a better person that I was able to serve with, learn with, mentor with as your very own. And thank you for that. It's been awesome learning how to create hope with you. I would also like to have Pam Gritz please stand. Pam, I love you. Pam and I met, as you know, because of Larry, but we had met at conferences, and she is your district retreat chair this year. And I'm telling you, she has kicked it up 500 notches. It is going to be a world-class retreat. It'll still meet I can't take the lawyer out of myself, the by law international requirements for a district conference, but it's going to have a different feel, and that it's going to be a retreat. Pensacola Beach, probably one of the nicest hotels we've stayed at, which we got discounted, so the price didn't go up with that. But thank you, Pam, for that. I would like Sean to also stand up for a minute. Sean, Tallahassee and Gulf Breeze go way back. Thank you, Sean. I'll cry if I finish my sentence, but you all were so generous with everything, but especially with our Ecological Global Grant. Do you know together, Gulf Breeze, the Kakamega Club in Kenya, Africa, along with your Tallahassee Club, was instrumental during COVID and all of that, and bringing, I get emotional about it, ecological bathrooms to places that were going to be shut down that service over 1,073 children. Sean, we could not have done that without you, and thank you so much for that and for the current projects we're doing in Africa, which I'll tell you all about. So Sean, thank you for that. Nancy, could you please stand? Welcome to Rotary. Nancy, I got to meet one of your new members who is being inducted next week. She's with Coldwell Banker, just a wonderful person. You have picked the right club. You are surrounded by so many people who would give their arm to service. And so thank you for picking such an awesome club. And thank you for thinking of Rotary. And we are so excited to induct you next week. So thank you for that. And I just want to say, Dawn, thank you for everything, as well as I would also like to thank Mark Jones. Let's give Mark Jones a round of applause for his years of service. You know, what you have done for Rotary and the foundation and what you'll continue to do, thank you for that. He's got a week and a half left. But, you know, his heart is so there with service, and we couldn't have done some of the things that we did without you. So thank you, Mark. I'm going to miss writing you send checks to you and all that, but I know you're just a phone call away. Tallahassee, you are the perfect club. You are the club that keeps giving. It's just like the battery. You just keep going. And what you do, you're such a model club, and it takes every single one of you in this room to do what you're doing. You know, we got to meet President Gordon, such a phenomenal man. He's a retired dentist. He's a father. He is a grandfather. He is a retired dentist, and he called on us at the International Assembly in January to capture the world's attention and to lead way beyond our possibilities. He is asking all of us as Rotarians to promote peace in troubled nations, to help those afflicted by conflict, and to maintain the momentum and initiatives from our past leaders. He said the goal this year is to restore hope, to help the world heal from destructive conflicts, and in turn, help us to achieve a lasting change within our own selves. Well, think about this. The act of being human depends on hope. Hope is a match in a dark place. Well, President Gordon's focus is the ideal balance of continuity and innovation. Rotary helps to create the conditions for peace, an opportunity, and a world and a life and a future worth living. Now, by continuing to do what you do best right here in Tallahassee, and what we as a district do in District 6940, we're going to focus on building peace in the world and within ourselves, because Rotary helps us to create a more peaceful, a more hopeful world. Well, what are we going to do this year? Gordon is asking us to first and foremost focus on promoting peace. Larry, thank you for what you did during your district conference with the Ukraine. You know, do you know how much this district has donated millions of dollars with others in our fight to help those in the Ukraine who have lost everything? You know, I think I have 3 people on my own staff that are from the Ukraine, and I've seen the cries. I've seen them being scared about their family members that have been left behind. Thank you, Tallahassee, for continuing to do that, because as Rotarians, we collectively put that money together and have Rotarians in the trenches to help those individuals. Gordon said a significant way to bring hope to the world is put a greater emphasis on peace. He said, peace is the soil where hope takes root. Well, for hundreds of years, economic inequality, financial illiteracy, social injustice, and unequal access to programs hampered the opportunities for those underserved in India. However, it was a challenge that Gandhi felt compelled to take on. Gandhi ensured that change in India and worldwide depends on hope. Now, Gandhi was a lawyer. He was an activist. He was a leader of the Indian independent movement, and he believed in nonviolence and civil disobedience to bring social change. But he said it starts with hope. Well, Gandhi's philosophy of nonviolence and civil disobedience was inspired by his deep belief in the inherent goodness of people. He believed that love and compassion can overcome even the most entrenched conflicts and social injustices. He believed that we can resist oppression and injustice without resorting to violence, ultimately leading to a more peaceful world. He once said, "Only he can be a leader who never loses hope." Well, Gandhi's ideas and actions continue to influence us as Rotarians. Think about it. We bring about positive change in our communities, in our places of employment, within our families, and within our clubs. Because as Rotarians, we think about a project of bringing hope. 300 backpacks for food. Gulf Breeze does a very similar project. We have 465 children in Santa Rosa County alone, not heavily as populated, you all, that go home every weekend not knowing where they're going to get their next meal. And this is we are bringing hope to these children. And thank you for that. And the many other programs that you here at the Tallahassee Club do every day. You know, hope motivates us. It makes us want to take action. Not only is it a motivating force, but it also creates inspiration and it wants others to do something. Think about this. When Rotary talks, the world listens. When Rotary acts, the world watches. Think about our polio program. Well, we started in '83. The Melinda and Bill Gates Foundation could have partnered with any other 501c3 or philanthropy, but chose to partner with Rotary. Why? Because when we do what we say we're going to do, we do it. And we have proven evidence and statistics and numbers of how every dollar that goes to Rotary International and to our respective foundations goes to those who receive a bit of hope. Martin Luther King Jr. once said, "We must accept finite disappointment, but never lose infinite hope." Well, like Gandhi and Martin Luther King Jr., you as Rotarians and we as Rotarians illustrate the transformative power of hope and how it can inspire us to motivate people to work together toward creating a more hopeful world. In addition to promoting peace, Gordon has asked us to focus on the mental health crisis. Rotary brings a lasting change to the world, one newly created hope at a time. Gordon is asking our global service organization of over 1.4 million people, add one more with Nancy's induction next week, and many more to come. We serve over 200 countries. Our very own past district governor, Larry Kubiak, who is obviously a PhD in psychology, has taken on this amazing task of focusing on the mental health crisis as a Rotarian, and he is our mental health advisor this year. When I was there in January, when we met Gordon, there are over 520 district governors. And you would think that, well, do we really know each other? I can tell you I know every single district governor in my class. Either I have met them in person, on a Zoom, and we all are a very close class. We had no idea what our theme was going to be until they announced it in January at the International Assembly in Orlando. Gordon walks across the stage talking about vision and building and bridges, and we're all thinking, what is that theme going to be as the world listened? And all of a sudden, there was this sweet music, emotional music playing in the background. And all these pictures started going across the screen of these people celebrating Christmas. You could tell there were some birthday parties, some black and white color photos. And he turns to us and says, "Do you see that man right there?" He looked like Gordon, like a very attractive, happy young man. He said, "That was my brother." And he put his head down and said, "He took his own life. And none of us knew he suffered from depression." There wasn't a dry eye in the room. Despite all the language barriers and the translation, everybody knew what happened, and it resonated with you. All of us have been affected by a consequence, a decision, someone who has suffered from mental illness. Some of us, like myself, have anxiety and take medication for it. There's nothing wrong with us. It's treatable. It's just like any other mental or medical condition. Gordon said, we have a duty as Rotarians to talk about mental health. We have a duty to end the stigma associated with mental health illnesses. Because when the world watches Rotarians, the world listens. Now, we as a club can't go and write a script or treat or, be like Larry and help those, but we can talk about it. In Santa Rosa County, I'm on the Education Foundation Committee, the foundation board. Last year alone, 7 high school kids killed themselves in Santa Rosa County. I think about, I hadn't lost even a grandparent at this time. My parents are still married, come from a very humble farming family. And I remember leaving the SAT one Saturday in 1991, not feeling good about it. Who does? But back in that day, we all went home and you just go play and ride your bicycles. Went to school that following Monday. And around 2:30, we were all asked to go into the theater. And we were scared, thinking, they said, how many of you felt like we thought something was wrong, like our scores, whatever? They said, how many of you took the SAT on Saturday? Of course, all of us did. And they said, well, you're missing one classmate. What? One of the girls took her own life after that test in my small town of North Platte, Nebraska, with over 21,000 people. Her parents were at her brother's soccer game. She went in and started her dad's truck, turned it on, and when they opened the garage, they found their daughter. And that's what we were told as, 11th graders. I hadn't even lost a grandparent, didn't know anybody who had died by that time that was close to me. It's pretty chilling to think that all of us could stand up right now and talk about that situation, because there are people suffering. We think about COVID, none of us went through an experience like that. My child was in kindergarten and she was sent home with a laptop from her school to learn how kindergarten on a laptop. Kindergartners are just learning how to hold a pencil properly and do certain things, but certainly never expected to be taught kindergarten on a laptop and use a mouse to do things. Our children are suffering, the bullying, the social media, the behaviors. But that's what Gordon is asking us to talk about. It's simply going up to someone and saying, Kelly, how are you doing today? How are you really doing? We need to restore our connections in our communities and our clubs, because Rotary is strong enough and brave enough to talk about the mental health crisis. And at the most basic level, it's simply a conversation. Thank you, Larry, for putting out things through the district website about bullying, about depression, about help, because you may not need that help, but 1 in 3 of us do. What are we going to do this year, Tallahassee? We're going to continue to do the wonderful things that you all continue to do. You are a model club for so many other clubs. Well, number 1, we're going to encourage service projects that capture the philosophy and skills of all of our members so that all of us can become lifelong Rotarians. 67 years of service. What an incredible man. We're going to support our innovative club models, and we're going to encourage the implementation of alternative club models, like our satellite clubs. We're going to encourage all members to be ambassadors to Rotary, to articulate our Rotary why. How many of you have your Rotary why? Why are you here? Why are we here together? So that we can share those moments as lifelong Rotarians. I think about my Rotary why, and I know Sean and Roger and Larry, this, and Dawn, but, most people don't realize that I am deaf. I wear hearing aids. I'm bilateral hearing impaired, which sometimes I'll talk too fast because my brain is trying to, but that has not been easy. Yes, I went to law school. Yes, I have a great, successful law practice, but I'm constantly reminded of what I had to do to get there, and the medical providers that helped me and supported me, and my teachers, to talk the way I can talk now without certain things that happen when someone has a hearing problem. My first trip to Kenya, and I know, Sean, this is so hard because he's like, it's just going to change your life. You know, we go to Kakamega. We're going again in January. We have global grants. We're doing another global grant, and thank you all for your service with that. I walked out, you know, no running water, no electricity where I go, nothing. And these kids have no shoes, and they are the happiest little people running around. And there was a girl, she was sitting over in the corner, and she was talking to someone with her hands. And I asked the doctor next to me, who's a good friend of mine from Johns Hopkins, and then the lady who was a nurse from the Kakamega County Hospital, and I said, is she deaf? And she said, how do you know? Because they had no idea. I said, well, I'm deaf. She's like, what? And she started looking in my ears. I'm like, you're kidding me. I'm like, I can sign. I sign all the time. And she said, she is deaf. I went up to that little girl and tapped on her, you know, and when you go there, they start feeling your hair because she had never met a white person. And she started petting me and all that, and I started signing to her. She had no idea what I was talking about because she has not been formally trained with sign language. But we connected. And to this day, she is my child. That was my Rotary why. That's what makes me want to get up every day and write the check or do what we do and go to Kenya and do things that we do here, because that child touched my heart in a way that you just can't replace that moment. We all have those Rotary whys. We need to talk about it, because for wonderful people like Nancy that are coming into this wonderful club, she will then start her Rotary why and tell someone else about her Rotary why. We're a champion district with the Hand Wash Project. Thank you to your club for that support. We will continue to support the Hand Wash Haiti Project, which is a district-wide program and a global international project. We're going to utilize the technology to improve the efficiency of training our Rotarians for both club and district positions, so we can minimize the time spent away from our families, but include family in service. And we're going to continue to support the three most amazing youth programs. We've got our Rotary Youth Exchange, our WILA, and our Interact students. We're going to support the diversity, equity, inclusion with the help of our very own Dr. Irvin Clark. What does that mean? That means we're going to be the most welcoming club. Put aside our differences at the door, and we're the most welcoming club. Because when you serve without borders. And as a club and a district, with the help of our very own Larry Kubiak, we're going to focus on mental health initiatives. And a lot of our retreat will be focused on certain things, focusing on promoting peace and mental health. All right, I'm a farm girl from Nebraska. We have created this 6940 Triple Crown Challenge. So what are we asking? You all have already done this. You're that amazing. We're going to contribute to the global grants to improve our healthcare in Kenya. I am respectfully asking each club to donate $250 to the Kakamega County Hospital Ophthalmology OR. We have 3 ophthalmologists there. They go and they can't treat these patients. Many of the doctors tell us, because we just did our typhoid vaccine of 1,600 children last year with the help of Rotary and some other partners, that vision problems for pediatric and adult patients are on the rise with typhoid and malaria illnesses. We have these great doctors, but they have no place to do these procedures. We're going to outfit with state-of-the-art equipment to give these people the gift of vision. Together we're doing that. And do you know there are 8 districts in Florida, and every one of my district governor classmates are giving to this grant. For the first time in history, every district is contributing to this grant for our friends in Kenya. Secondly, the Rotary Youth Camp. How many of you have been to the Rotary Youth Camp? Every single one of you. Do you know we are celebrating 30 years of the youth camp and our Rotary partnership with the youth camp? It costs $1,500 to send one child to camp for a week. Why? Because we are the only camp in the state of Florida that focuses on the physically disabled children in a camp experience, like all of us had as children. Our goal is to raise $300,000. I'm asking each club to support one camper, $1,500. And finally, we're not done with polio. In fact, I was on the team to go on the 19th of October. Unfortunately, out of the 37 of us that were picked, it wasn't like people were lining up wanting to go because Pakistan is not a safe place. Unfortunately, even though I have global entry and have been to Pakistan before, 6 of us who were supposed to go on that trip were denied visas, which is fine. The rest of the team is going on the 19th, and we are hoping that we get access to the 2 final villages that we have been able to determine there's approximately 108,000 children that need to be vaccinated from this horrible, paralyzing disease. So what are we doing as a district? Gordon has asked each member to give $50. But guess what? I have lined item in the district budget, $25 per member. And we're asking each member to donate $25. So you have the 50, and then you have the Gates Foundation that will contribute. With our overall collection for hopefully ending polio, hopefully this year, which would be great, although it will take years to certify that, over 150,000. Here's the trick. If we are able to end polio in the next year by the last efforts we are doing, very aggressive efforts, with the Pakistani government, which has not been easy. Any and all money that was donated for that purpose will be distributed back to those donors. You know, the Rotary vision statement is together. We see a world where people are united to take action to create lasting change across the globe and in our communities and within ourselves. Tallahassee, thank you for what you do, and thank you for your service, and thank you for working with us this year as we all create hope together. Thank you.
Wow, what can you say after that? Kerry Anne, I will personally guarantee we will meet all 3 of these obligations. As you can tell, this kind of thing touches me as well. I reach out to people in need all the time. And this is the kind of thing, like they used to say, I'm an old Kansas boy. They said, this is what floats your boat. I don't know where they came up with that. We didn't have any water to float a boat. But anyway, I do thank you, and we will, I will personally chuck in that $250. Anybody wants to match it, we can always go over and above, and let's meet this polio contribution as well. So, Kerry Anne, I would like to give you a book, The First 100 Years of the Tallahassee Rotary Club. Is by David Avant, George? Anyway, David Avant and Terry Lewis. I think you met Judge Lewis, and he has signed this, and we'd like to have you with his compliments. Let's see, being a judge, it's very difficult to read this handwriting, but I think it says, for Kerry Anne, the best district governor ever. Thank you for all that you do for Rotary. Terry Lewis. And the other thing is, I'll have to put in a plug for Terry. It tells on the first flyleaf, it tells them about George Avant that did the first 75 years. The last 25 is done by Terry. He did happen to manage to get a list of the other books he's written down at the bottom of the flyleaf, and they're available on Amazon, or Terry personally will deliver you a copy. I just thought I'd put that. Kerry Anne, thank you so much.
Oh, wonderful. This is beautiful. Thank you all. Thank you.
Well, this has been an extraordinary meeting, and as your 101st president, I'm glad to march forward into the 2nd century. And I think we're off to a great start. We have a great governor, and look at the leadership just at this table. Extraordinary people in our club. And so many of you have led us along down the way, and we've had people like Major Harding, Bill Gunter, people have been here with us for a long time, Wilton, and we all thank you. They've all, and continue to give to Rotary. So with that, let's end with the four-way test of the things that we think, say, or do. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? The Rotary theme for this year, create hope in the world. And well presented by Kerry Anne. We see how now that we can create hope in the world. Thank you again, Kerry Anne.
Oh, nice program.